I love this conversation because it's something that people actually don't realize at all. When they're stepping into exploring weight loss surgery, it's all about health complications, comorbid conditions, and all the other future benefits that go hand in hand with getting yourself into a stable and healthy weight range. It took me about 10 years working in this industry to learn from patients that alongside the benefits of improved health and well-being were improved financial health and well-being. And that really astounded me when I learnt that at the time. It wasn't what I was expecting to hear. And I started to look into that a little bit more. There's so many different things to explore here. The economic burden of overweight and obesity on health systems, and what does that look like in terms of cost to government, and long term, what are we doing with a begoning health system, adding additional massive cost to treatment of comorbid conditions and chronic disease, when we could actually be looking at what can we do to be reducing chronic diseases through better weight loss and weight management. That's a huge conversation. So that's one thing, the economic burden of weight-related complications on our health system. But for individuals going through this, often, I guess the thought process is cost to them when they're actually exploring weight loss surgery is it affordable? Can I do this? And there's a huge fear, a massive barrier to exploring weight loss surgery when it comes to the cost of the actual surgery, rather than looking at what are the long-term cost benefits and where does that take me from a financial position. Many times patients have spent a fortune on diets, exercise programs, gym memberships, and so many different things. If you look at their history of a lifespan of where they've spent money, it would add up to a huge dollar sign number that you can't even imagine how people invest to try and help them over the years. So let's get rid of all of that and make it a totally different story after surgery. Look at the cost of medications that people are taking, and reduction in cost on medications and pharmaceuticals, and never needing to continuously have to end up at the pharmacy spending a fortune. So that's a huge reduction in personal budget and cost that is a benefit and fantastic outcome, of course. But then you see things like financially, people start to improve their self-esteem, they start to feel amazing about themselves, and they start to go for job promotions. That's huge. I see people change careers, go after jobs that they might never have gone for. But then I also see people who've been unemployed, who've lost jobs, regain entry into the workforce. And that is massive. I see a lot of people come from the fly-in, fly-out sector, where they're challenged by their weight and they're at risk of losing jobs when they reach 150 kilos. So that's a huge risk if they've got families, children, and a lot of financial commitments. So maintaining employment is also important for that patient population. But when I see people who've been unemployed lose weight and finally find an opportunity to regain that self-confidence and opportunity to really re-enter the workforce, that's massive in terms of benefit, and it has lifelong outcomes. So massive gain from a financial health and well-being perspective. And I see people change their attitude to their financial position. So not only are they going after other jobs, improving their status around climbing the ladder, no matter what their job position is, and having that opportunity to work longer, to work more productively, to have less sick days. These are benefits not just to the individual, but to organisations as well, that are massive improvement on the health of a business as well. So when you've got lost productivity due to medical issues and complications that are related to weight, and we can reduce those and reduce sick days, everyone's winning. It's a big win-win. I also see people tell me stories anecdotally around how they've changed their mindset and their attitude around their own personal wealth creation and financial investments, and just doing things that they never thought they would have. So that correlation between health and well-being, becoming healthier and being more active and doing amazing things in life, also sits side by side of the financial benefits. It might even be changing the family budget on what they're spending every single week on food bills, on pharmaceuticals. It's just has so many different levels of potential opportunity. I love looking into this, and I think we really need to flip the conversation around the cost of surgery rather than the benefit and long-term financial benefit as well. Because if you're a patient looking to use your superannuation and you're scared because it's a chunk of money, what about how are you going to be able to live life once you get to retirement and enjoy your superannuation if you're not healthy, fit and well and able to really make the most of that time? So there's a whole lot of conversations to have around financial implications of weight loss surgery. It can be pretty powerful, and as opposed to being concerned about how much am I spending, how much am I gaining? That's a really interesting question, and that would be fascinating to speak with someone who works in that financial sector around the psychological impact of making this decision when it comes to parting with money. Yes, it's a huge investment, and I absolutely get the fear factor that comes with that. But we really need to think about, what if I don't? If I don't invest in my health, my well-being and my future now, what does that look like? It's not going to be fun if you're doctor shopping once you get to retirement age and you're running around to see an endocrinologist, a cardiologist, and thinking about planning which nursing home you're going to. What about planning for that never to be your story and actually being in a position where you have the best health and well-being, but also the financial opportunity to live a good life? You'll work for longer, you'll work more productively, you'll work happier. The impact is on health, well-being from so many different facets: emotional health and well-being, and your mental health, physical well-being, financial health and well-being needs to be part of the conversation. So rather than seeing cost as a barrier, let's look at it as an opportunity and an advantage of what it's going to bring you down the track. And it's quite interesting to have a look at that whole big financial calculator of what does it cost you up until now, what is it going to save you in the future, and what is it going to bring you in the future, and what are you capable of, what are your goals, what are you incentivized by? And I think most of us have some kind of attachment or financial incentive. If you lose 30 kilos, I'm going to give you $30,000. You're going to be incentivized. Well, what if you could actually make that up? What if your investment you can double? What if your investment in your health and well-being translates to working longer, better, more productively, and actually greater financial stability in the future, maintaining your employment rather than being scared of losing it, not having to spend on doctors and drugs and things like that in the future? What if you could actually flip that around and turn it into, my investment's actually going to be doubled, tripled, quadrupled, if you like, over time, rather than I'm losing some of my superannuation. So yeah, I think it's actually a really great conversation to have around, how do we reframe that discussion? How do we look at the financial benefits rather than the financial loss? Because all I can see is benefits and gain. The risk of spending that money and taking your money, whether it's from super or a financial medical loan or whatever combination of how we support you to access surgery looks like, it is a huge investment, the best investment you'll ever make. And let's try and look at, well, how can I make that investment actually turn into a financial outcome for me as well? So we've just recently launched our own WLSA finance product, which is really exciting because we have a specialist in this space who's a finance broker who can talk to the patient around their potential borrowing capacity and help them look at a range of medical finance loans and really dive into which one might be best for them. So it's important to have someone who's an independent finance broker to have those conversations with each patient, because everybody's financial circumstances are different. They do need to have 2 pay slips to show that they have the capacity to borrow and to pay back over time. But there are finance plans up to 84 months. So just if you're looking at a finance plan alone over a long period of time, it just makes it a lot more accessible The last thing we want to do is put people under financial stress to access surgery. We want to make it easy. We want to make it achievable and manageable, and something that they can say, yep, I can actually do that now. We also do support patients who qualify for early release of funds and superannuation, and whether or not that's due to their chronic diseases or chronic pain. There are all sorts of criteria. So many patients would also qualify for potentially early release of funds from super. And they might even be able to look at a combination of some super and some finance loans. So understanding that there are solutions, there are options, and that we can help patients navigate their way through, how do I actually achieve this? What are my financial opportunities to access surgery that I never thought I could potentially access? So yes, making it as easy as possible. Within as short a time frame as 3 weeks sometimes, but preparation is key. We want to make sure that patients are very well equipped and set up for success. So, it's not a decision to make overnight. It takes time to go through the consultation process and to get ready for surgery. So we don't advocate to fast track from one day to the next, but yes, we can make it happen within a short time frame. And I guess that's because that's all we do here. We're focused just on the management of our bariatric patients at our centre. And so they're our priority every single day, and we do whatever we can to accommodate and help people. One thing I would like to add is a story of a patient who was the one person who exposed my whole mindset around the implications of weight loss surgery and financial benefit. It was a beautiful lady by the name of Melinda, who 10 years into my career working at Weight Loss Solutions Australia, she came to me and she told me all about how she had completely transformed her financial health and well-being. And that was the first time that I actually saw that as a side-by-side benefit of weight loss surgery. So she changed career, she changed her financial investment strategy, and her whole life transformed. And that really opened up for me that understanding that this was an opportunity for people to transform their financial health and well-being as well. And I really love that about what we're giving people. The opportunities are endless.